Game 2 back at the Georgia Dome here in Atlanta. And our closed captioning is brought to you by New York Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit. Let's pick up our starting lineups.
At guard 6'6" from Tennessee, number 20, Allen Houston. And at guard 6'2" from Florida State, number 21, Charlie Ward. And head coach Jeff Van Gundy. All right, Atlanta, it's time to stand and cheer for your Atlanta Hawks starting lineup. At forward, 6'9" from Marquette, number 4, Chris Crawford. At forward, 6'9" from Eastern Michigan, number 43, Grant Long. At center, 7'2" from Georgetown, number 55, Dikembe Mutombo. At guard 6'8" from Michigan State, number 8, Steve Smith. And at guard 6'1" from Oklahoma, number 10, Mookie Blaylock. Let's hear from our own head coach, Lenny Wilkins.
Lenny Wilkins not happy with his team's performance in Game 1, especially on the defensive end. And certainly did raise some eyebrows. The Knicks offense had a lot to do with it, Clyde, in that, again, with the performance of Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell. But the Hawk defense, surprisingly, did not put up the type of intensity we thought they would.
Right, especially in the third quarter. I thought they were lackadaisical in getting back. Houston, you can see, very loosey-goosey behind the back for the hoop.
And you see those kind of moves, those kind of creative moves. It wasn't just a jump shooting evening for Allen Houston. And you talk to assistant coach Don Chaney, he was very impressed with those type of creativity moves.
Like the behind-the-back dribble at one time off transition. You know, Allen, to me, and I drafted him when I was in Detroit, and I know what his capabilities are. He has a lot of moves that he hasn't used or is afraid to use or doesn't feel comfortable using. So when I see him make a great move like that, I'm not surprised. But I like to see him bring his game out a little bit more because he's a very talented guy. He can do a lot of things on the floor. But I think it has to do, at times with confidence. And he has to be aware that he can get away with that without hurting the team, but yet maybe score for himself or make a play to help other guys score.
Clyde, you know, Chris Childs said something during the course of the season. Allen Houston doesn't know how good he really is. Maybe he's starting to find out.
Yeah, I think so. That the winning shot against the Heat has really catapulted his confidence. And now we're the Knicks are the recipients of a prolific Allen Houston now, exuding a lot of that confidence in this series.
So we're set to go for Game 2. Certainly a critical game for the Atlanta Hawks. Larry Johnson, the vocal leader of the Knicks, getting set.
Well, we know the Knicks have been helter-skelter in their style of play. We saw the first game against Miami where the Knicks won a rampage. In the second game, they were the antithesis of that good play. So they must regain their consistency, become a more consistent team.
They have won 2 in a row, both on the road. Game 5, Miami. Game 1, Atlanta. Trying to make it 3 straight. Very good officiating crew tonight. Dick Bavetta, Ronnie Nunn, and Tommy Nunez. And to start off, the Knicks will gain possession off the opening tip.
Grant Long has to have a good night tonight. He was mediocre in the first game, so he has to up his offense, as well as Mutombo.
Mediocre, Clyde, is a nice way to put it. He was 0 for 6 after having 26 in Game 5 against the Pistons. Johnson against Crawford, who's in the starting lineup after coming off the bench. Johnson turns, misfires, Mutombo the rebound.
You saw what the Hawks wanted to do defensively. Blaylock is going to be the guy to double team, so the Knicks must have the poise to find the open man.
Mookie Blaylock sets the tone at both ends of the floor for the Hawks, and he did not have a particularly good game. We have the first whistle. Charlie Ward called for a hold. That'll be his first.
And that's inexplicable. The game just beginning. Blaylock just looking to come on the perimeter. So there's Grant Long. A lot like Charles Oakley, 6'9", 245. There you see he had zilch in the first game.
I think the 48 minutes had a lot to do with the zilch, as many of the Hawks fatigued down the stretch. Blaylock going to pull up, knocks down his first shot.
Blaylock relegated to the bench when the Hawks had an opportunity to come back in the game. Looked like there was a miscommunication between he and Coach Wilkins. So Blaylock staying on the bench down the stretch.
Kurt Thomas took a whack in the back, and he's holding on to it as he runs up the floor. Very slow getting down the court. Ewing, bad pass deflected. Picked up by Blaylock. 3-on-2 break. Blaylock right towards the basket. Puts it in. Rookie Blaylock attacking the goal.
Grant Long that time just not looking at the ball, but just put his arms out in the passing lane to force the turnover.
The Knicks certainly have to be aware the Hawks, that word attack is on the mind. They will come out attacking right from the get-go.
This is where the Hawk D is formidable. See in the half-court game. The Knicks hurt them in the first game in transition.
So the Knicks, who shot 51% from the field in game 1, missed their first 2. Mutombo against Ewing. They didn't go at it all that much with Ewing and foul problems, and already Patrick Ewing picks up his first.
He had Mutombo going diagonally away from the basket like Ward, an imprudent foul by Ewing. And remember, folks, the first quarter also, the first game in the first quarter, Houston in early foul wolves, so was Patrick Ewing.
Ewing already yelling at Tommy Nunes, complaining about the call. He let it get the best of him in game 1. Blaylock off to a terrific start. He's got all 6 points.
So he's showing his versatility as Blaylock. And now the double team, and the Knicks want to talk it over.
A 20-second timeout called by Jeff Van Gundy. Blaylock, who took himself out of the game in game 1. And there you see Ewing continuing. Should forget about it and just get back to the huddle. Ewing spent too much time arguing in game 1.
And he received a technical also in game 1. So Ewing has to focus on the game. And what's happening now, folks? They start the game. Thomas hurt his back underneath the basket. Watch him there on the left. He got pushed by Mutombo. So he's feeling some pain, but he remains in the game.
Jeff Van Gundy, very quick huddle. That's something quick and harsh to say, it appeared, and then walked out. Not happy with his team's start. Already down 6-0, and have not even played 2 minutes. Houston to Thomas. Thomas with another shot. Won't go. Rebound Mutombo.
Mutombo averaging 13 rebounds a game.
Blaylock finding Long.
3 seconds.
Long had a shot, reluctant to shoot.
Thomas on the post defense. Long goes for the head fake. And a rare time Thomas goes up for that fake, and he picks up his first foul as the Knicks off to a bad start.
And Long was the guy we focused on. He needs to get on track. That time a slick move along the baseline to draw the foul. I really like his work ethic. Early on in his career, a rebounder, intimidator on the defense, but has developed a little perimeter jumper, that little 10 to 15-foot jumper.
Now his 10th year in the league, 33 years old. It's his second stint with Atlanta. Signed as a free agent with them after last 2 years in Detroit. Hardly played at all. Steve Smith lobbied the Hawk management to bring him back. Smith loves playing with him. He's one of those intangible type players. And a lot of people feel that he's one of the keys for their success this year.
He was also traded with Steve Smith from Miami in the Kevin Willis trade. So Grant Long, former second-round pick by the Heat.
1 of 2 from the line. Knicks still scoreless, and we played nearly 2.5 minutes. Johnson finding Thomas over Mutombo, doesn't go. Rebound Kurt Thomas, and they call a jump ball.
I thought that was a quick call there.
So Crawford and Thomas will jump it up.
So Thomas has misfired along the baseline previously. And there you see Blaylock with the double team. So Thomas will misfire. Watch this. I thought this was a quick whistle. Both guys going for the ball. Looked like Thomas had it, but a jump ball scenario.
Want to make sure nothing gets involved in extracurricular stuff. Crawford, his second tip, ball knocked a couple of times. Charlie Ward picks it up.
That's why you see why the officials stopped tossing balls. That was a ghastly toss.
Kurt Thomas has taken 3 of the 4 shots from the Knicks already. That's not a usual thing. As Mutombo called for the foul, that'll be his first, and the Knicks will take it out of bounds. Charlie Ward appears to have cut his right pinky. He ran over during the jump ball. Had Mike Saunders attend to it. They're going to have to get that fixed. And Ward will sit down momentarily while Childs comes in. He tried to stay out quickly, grabbed the towel, wiped off the blood, but apparently it continues to bleed, and Saunders will have to attend. Speaking of Mike Saunders, you see with the deep thigh bruise for Chris Childs, Childs credits Mike Saunders for getting him back so quickly because it was a tough injury. People were surprised Childs played in Game 5, but Saunders in his 21st year with the Knicks did a great job and doing a lot of work on that thigh. Childs with the three, way off the air ball, Crawford the rebound.
That's why you should never enter the game and take the first opportunity. Get into the flow before you shoot the ball.
Knicks have missed their first 5 shots from the field, and they're down 7-0.
Blaylock has made his first 3 opportunities.
Blaylock runs into his own man in a reach-in foul call. He goes against Childs. That's his first and the Knicks' 3rd team foul.
Knicks discombobulated early on, so Blaylock has had his way. Grant Long also has been able to get inside.
See the concern on Jeff Van Gundy.
He's seen this before from his team. Not knowing which team might show up in a particular game or a particular quarter.
Steve Smith went to the foul line quite a bit in game 1. Running shot, no good. Ball tipped out right back to Smith. Misfires. And Larry Johnson a rebound.
Smith, their top gun, having his woes that time.
Hawks get back in a hurry. One of their problem areas game 1 was transition defense. Ewing and Mutombo spins away, shot won't go. Rebound taken by Kurt Thomas.
Ewing overzealous, overextended on the basket.
Childs, nice feed inside. Blocked by Mutombo, picked up by Ewing and a foul, puts it in.
Yeah, good tenacity that time by Ewing, and then Thomas also keeping it alive.
Knicks going about 3:40 without a point, finally score.
Ewing now in a mismatch. Long looking to exploit him.
Long across the lane and easily puts it in. That's where Ewing has had his problems moving laterally defensively.
Right, especially when he's like 15 feet away.
We've played 4 minutes. Knicks are down by 7.
This is the start that the Hawks wanted, and not the start Van Gundy wanted from his team.
And certainly you see the difference in the shooting numbers. Childs finding Kurt Thomas, uses the glass, won't go. Rebound taken by Ewing. Ewing the follow, that's short. Blaylock the rebound.
You like the guards to come and get those deep rebounds. Blaylock diminutive, only a 6-footer, but a good rebound.
Knicks 1 of 10. Blaylock misfires. Kurt Thomas the board.
Yeah, their pace has quickened now. This should benefit the Knicks.
And a turnover. Knicks their 2nd turnover. They're 1 of 10 from the field. Kurt Thomas has taken half of the Knicks shots. Very unusual.
Because Blaylock has been double teaming and Thomas has been the guy coming open, but he can't finish. Childs off the bench put up an air ball, and that time threw the ball into oblivion.
He's had some good looks. Sprewell gets ready to check in. That's where the boos are coming from. Smith misfires on a 3, and Thomas called for a loose ball foul, pushing off, and that's going to be his 2nd foul.
Good assertion by Mutombo to draw the foul. So the Knicks over the limit already, folks. And we've just begun the first quarter, so they will shoot 2.
Sprewell, an early entry. He also came in the game very early in game 1 in the first quarter, as Thomas will sit down with the 2 fouls.
Game 1, he came in for Houston, who had 2 early fouls, and now timeout has been called.
Lenny Wilkins calls it with 7:18 remaining. His team playing some terrific defense as the Knicks have missed 9 of their first 10 shots from the field.
Back at the Georgia Dome, things have not gotten off to a good start for the Knicks. Before this game, they held a moment of silence as our country once again has to answer the whys in a high school shooting at Heritage High School not far from Atlanta. Our condolences go out to all the families involved, and I know it hits home with one member of the audience here tonight. Scott Hastings, the former NBA player covering the game for TNT, actually lives in Littleton, Colorado, and has set up a fund to raise money for the victims of that tragedy. It definitely hits home for all of us as well. Back to you, Mike Breen.
Thank you, Al. And we certainly pray to an end for these senseless incidents that seem to be popping up certainly all too often as Dikembe Mutombo hits the first.
And again, the Knicks are in the penalty early on, and surprisingly during that timeout, Van Gundy sort of punished his team. They did not sit down. He kept them out on the court. So giving him a piece of his mind. Normally Van Gundy very unflappable, but showing some emotion. There you see the Knicks standing. Normally they stand doing a 20-second timeout, but this was a full timeout. So he kept them out there the entire time.
And Mutombo hits both free throws. Mutombo answering a lot of questions last couple of days about how he's too reverent with his mentor, Patrick Ewing. Mutombo off to a good start, as is the entire Hawks team. Houston trying to find an open shot. Won't go. Larry Johnson the rebound. Picks it back out. Houston fires away again. That's no good. Johnson tipped it, lost it, taken by Blaylock.
Blaylock doing an excellent job of getting the bounds.
Grant Long kicks it back to Crawford. Crawford running shot. And a blocking foul called on Larry Johnson. And everything going wrong for the Knicks right now.
Yeah, they're misfiring on the offense, and now the Hawks have been prospering in transition. So Blaylock the catalyst. So he hit his first 3 shots. He's got some big rebounds. Got this one. and then found Grant Long in the paint, and he dished it off to Crawford, so he's at the line for 2.
Saw that 1 for 12 number. Knicks also in the penalty right now as Crawford hits the first. Crawford, of course, had that great game in game 1, 20 of the 26 in the first half, 17 in the second quarter.
And this is after coming off an injury where he didn't play. He only played in 2 games in the series against the Pistons. So a dramatic return by this man. Only a second-round draft choice by the Hawks out of Marquette.
He's got a good stroke. Didn't bother him to have that separated shoulder. Said it was a little sore after the game, but overall he was pleased.
Yeah, they're going to separate his other one next season where he came back.
Sprewell bats it through. Won't go. Mutombo the rebound. Knicks now 1 of 13 from the field. Childs sticking with Blaylock.
Blaylock is lethal over the pick and roll. That time Crawford not setting the pick.
Crawford trying to post up. Nice steal from Sprewell, tipping it away. Knicks push it up the floor. Hawks get back. Nice feed underneath. Houston reverse side. Misses the layup. Mutombo the rebound.
That's the grand duo Mutombo. Houston was looking for the 7-2 Mutombo and missed the shot.
Knicks have now missed 13 of their first 14 from the field and only have 2 points, and we're midway through the first quarter. Blaylock out to Smith. Smith on the drive to Crawford, and Crawford was out of bounds when he caught it. In some ways, the Hawks, you'd say, have not taken fully advantage of the horrible start. It's 11 points, but the Knicks right now showing no signs at all of getting any confidence offensively. They've had some good looks, Clyde.
Yeah, inside as well as on the perimeter. Previously, Houston inside could not finish.
Sprewell on the runner. Ewing the offensive rebound taken away by Blaylock.
Ever-present Blaylock.
Mutombo got hit in the eye, and he is slow coming up the floor. Blaylock with a penetration, kicks it off the long, can't handle it, and the Hawks turn it over for the 3rd time. There you see Mutombo shaken up.
So the turnovers have been down in this series. So the Knicks have really cut back on their turnovers. The Hawks averaging 13 turnovers, the Knicks only 12.
You see him hitting the bridge of his nose. He's been wincing ever since. Ewing against Mutombo. Right now, no double coverage. Ewing, tough turnaround shot is up and good. It was 6 of 7 from the field in his limited duty in game 1. That's the Knicks just their 2nd field goal of the game.
And that one-on-one opportunity shows that the coach Wilkins think that Mutombo can handle Patrick by himself.
Smith now to post up Houston. Ewing goes to double. They kick it up top. Crawford fakes the 3. Crawford on the drive. Out to Mutombo. 5 on the shot clock. Back out Crawford. Crawford way high 3. Short. Childs a long rebound.
Good rebounding by the guards now. Previously Blaylock, this time Childs.
Childs with the leaner. That's good. Chris Childs puts it down. And the Knicks cut it to 7.
So the Hawks had turned it over 2 of the last 3 possessions, so the Knicks have tightened up their D.
Mookie Blaylock with Childs on him again. Ward went to the bench after cutting his pinky. Blaylock with a tough 3. Off the mark. Fight for the rebound. Excellent boxing out from Allen Houston, keeping Steve Smith away. 3-on-1 break. Feet inside. Ewing misses the jam. Sprewell right there and draws the foul. Boy, Grant Long with some superb defense to deny Ewing.
And then Sprewell relentless. He was a guy that was the orchestrator. He dished it to Ewing, and then Spree coming up with the carom to draw the foul.
Crawford the foul his first, and Latrell Sprewell, who is 9 for 9 from the line in game 1, goes back there. In fact, the Knicks were 20 of 21, and the only miss they had, Clyde, was because of a lane violation. It was a shot that went in that was negated. So they really were perfect from the line, except for that lane violation. And overall, they have done an excellent job in the playoffs. Currently #1 of the 16 teams that began in the NBA postseason. You see way higher than their regular season average.
And also their field goal percentage is up to 45%. And turnovers are down. Knicks only 12 turnovers. Regular season they average 16. And this is why they are prospering in the playoffs.
Chris Childs screaming at Ronnie Nunn. He wanted a foul called, and a technical foul is going to be called against Chris Childs. Chris Childs losing his temper. And the same old story for Childs. You can almost count on it in some cases. Larry Johnson trying to keep him away. Here the Knicks finally get a little momentum here in the first, and Childs again, and it's strictly a selfish move, Clyde.
Yeah, he was picking up in the back court, and Mutombo set a good screen on him, and Childs thought it was illegal as he fell down.
Childs still yelling at Nunn, and again, he's now just one technical away from being thrown out. He's been such an important part of the Knicks playing.
He's had his woes against the Hawks, though. Watch the play. This is what he got upset over, folks. Well, no, that's not it. That's where he was charged with a technical. We thought we would get the play where Mutombo set a screen on him to get his anger up.
And an offensive foul down the other end. This one will go against Grant Long, and that'll be his first. You know, the official will certainly, they'll respect you so much more if you go over and say, hey, listen, I just got whacked. Please, you got to keep an eye on this rather than just start screaming and cursing at a ref on the first possible opportunity. And that hurts the overall team in the long run. The Cry-Wolf syndrome.
Again, one-on-one, no one looking to help. There's Blaylock coming in.
Ewing flips it in, was off balance as Mutombo moved away from him. And Patrick Ewing now with 6 points, and the Knicks will pull within 4.
Good manipulation by Ewing. Very poised on that play as he worked himself inside.
So after a slow start, Knicks on an 8-1 run. Oh, off the back of Long's head. Here comes Sprewell. One man to beat. He's got a trailer. Puts it up. Shot. That's good. And a foul. Marvelous move for Latrell Sprewell. And a chance for a three-point play.
That's vintage Spree right there. 6'5", 200 pounds of fury. So previously we saw him in transition. He dished it to Ewing. Spree came up with the carom to get to the line. This time he got there on his own. And again, Crawford, the culprit, with the foul. So this is Childs right here. This is why Childs got upset. You saw him go sprawling. He thought that was an illegal screen by Mutombo. So the Knicks now in their transitional game, and Sprewell providing the impetus.
Knicks now within 1. They're on an 11-1 run after the Hawks opened up with that great surge. Meanwhile, the Hawks haven't had a field goal in about 5 minutes.
3 seconds. Smith has been off to a poor start.
That shot no good. Contested well. Gets his follow. Puts it in. Steve Smith with a second effort.
Yeah, would not be denied the second time. So he missed his first 4 opportunities before that play to get him inside.
Knicks down by 3. Just under 3 minutes to play here in the first. Knicks missed their first 7 shots, but now much better now. They'll turn it over again.
Good pass by you, and Houston couldn't handle it.
3 seconds.
Long makes his move, puts up a shot over Ewing, won't go. Smith's tip misses. Long knocks it away, and a loose ball foul called against Grant Long. And that will be his second foul. Patrick goes down hard. Patrick Ewing in the back of his head.
A little whiplash because Long were charged with the piggybacking foul. So the Knicks will regain their composure. They will have it.
Timeout on the floor with 2:40 remaining. Ewing shaken up, but the Knicks back within 3. Tonight, the Knicks and the Red Holtzman Knicks Kids Foundation once again conducting a one-night-only call-in auction for 2 second-row VIP seats for Game 3 coming up on Sunday. Knicks and the Hawks at the Garden. The package also includes viewing the Knicks pregame warm-ups and lunch for 2 at the Garden's Club Restaurant. To place a bid on a Sunday afternoon with the Knicks, a special offer, call 212-465-4130. Operators now standing by. The minimum bid is $2,500. And remember, all proceeds benefit the Red Holtzman Knicks Kids Foundation. The number again, 212-465-4130 for a thrilling afternoon. 2 great seats at a Knicks playoff game at the world's most famous arena. Patrick Ewing will remain in the game, still bothered by it.
And there you see from behind Grant Long. He's 6'9", 245. Ewing received a little whiplash that time, as Long was overzealous after he missed a shot and then coming over the back of Patrick.
So the elbow to the back of the head.
Ewing would not have gotten that if he had been boxing out. He should have gotten his body into Long.
Sprewell fakes Corbin, puts it up, shot short. Mutombo the rebound. Camby has come into the game for the first time. Marcus Camby only played 10 minutes in Game 1.
Yeah, he thrives in a game like this, in a transition game.
You see Anthony Johnson. He's in early for Mookie Blaylock, who again was fatigued in Game 1. Very tired, asked to come out of the game. So Wilkins resting him early. Bad pass from Johnson. Another turnover by the Hawks. They're 6th already. And this is a team that won game this season. They only turned it over 4 times in an entire game. That's just 1 shy of the all-time NBA low, which is 3.
It's only been done a couple of times.
Right, just twice, Clyde.
Yeah, in the history of the league. So.
Houston has Smith on him.
Good continuity this time by the Knicks. Opening up the court.
Ewing went one way and the pass the other. Knicks, meanwhile, have now turned it over 4 times. Just over a minute and a half remaining in the first. Knicks down 3 after trailing by 11 with a disastrous start. Mutombo. Ewing goes for the fake. Mutombo short. Camby the rebound.
Good vexation by Camby that time, making his shot come up short.
Child's little hesitation move. Johnson doesn't bite on it. And Houston called for travel. Allen Houston 0 for 3 with a turnover.
When sometimes Houston gets in a hurry, so that time not focusing, shuffling both feet, so the Hawks will bring it up.
Houston played as well as he possibly could in game one. And again, it wasn't just the amount of points, as the way he did it with an array of moves. Getting to the free throw line as well, which you've always talked about, Clyde, as being so key. Grant Long way short. Camby his second rebound.
Hawks aiming their shots now, a sign of lack of confidence.
Sprewell, nice pass off to Houston. Can't connect. Ball knocked loose by Long.
Houston not even close on that shot. Almost missed the basket.
Childs is guarding Steve Smith right now. He's trying to front him. Huge height advantage there for the Hawks. Houston is on Anthony Johnson.
Smith only 1 of 6, though, off to a woeful beginning.
Backing in, leans, nice pass inside. Foul before the shot. Won't matter, though, as the Knicks over the limit. So free throws coming up for the Atlanta Hawks. Dick Bavetta going to come out and tell us who the foul is on. Camby. No, well, they call it against Ewing. So Ewing picks up his second.
Yeah, watch Smith. He's 6'8", Childs 6'3", but the Knicks turn their heads, and Johnson comes right in the paint to draw the foul.
Ewing 2 fouls, so he'll sit down after this free throw. Johnson hits the first. Chris Dudley, who played 31 minutes in game one, very effective defense. Ewing will sit down with 6 points and 3 boards.
But this is the unit with Ewing out of the game that prospered in the first game. Dudley doesn't want to score. He just bounds and intimidates. So the 3 guards in the game now with Dudley and Camby, this could be a formidable challenge now for the Hawks.
Johnson hits a second. Close to a half minute remaining in the first. Once again, those looking for the Yanks and the Red Sox. That game on Metro Guide. We thank the Yankees for that. Camby pass down low to Dudley. And Dudley kicks it back up top. Houston with Smith on him. Houston makes his move, drive, knocked away, picked up by Dudley. Dudley's follow-up bank shot won't go. Camby with a beautiful tip-in.
Keeping Mutombo busy was Dudley, and then Camby coming from behind with a quantum leap.
Knicks down 3. Shot clock is turned off here in the first quarter.
No fouls to give. They've been in the penalties early in the first quarter.
Johnson now drives, lob, and beautiful pass inside. Mutombo just tips it in.
Yeah, Dudley must see the ball and see the man at the same time.
Childs makes his move. Childs goes underneath, flips it up, wild shot, and he draws the foul. With 0.6 of a second remaining, Mutombo his second foul. And Lenny Wilkins cannot believe it, nor can Mutombo.
Look at Mutombo perplexed by the call, pleading his case. Let's take a look. Right there, he drew body contact. He did draw some contact. And remember, he and Childs have had their problems. He knocked out Childs' front tooth in a regular season game here at the Georgia Dome.
Childs hitting the first. That would prompted Childs to make some revenge-type comments after the game that he backed away from.
Mutombo fined, what, $7,500?
Right. Childs hitting the first free throw.
Childs now makes his home in Atlanta. We talked to him early in the season. He's from California, was living in L.A., said there were too many distractions. And after having a poor season last year, said he just wanted to get away. So he moved to Atlanta, and we've seen tangible results in his play this season.
Long heaves it up. Dudley will tip it, and that will end the first quarter. Knicks survive a disastrous start where they missed 14 of their first 15, trailed by 11. But after one quarter, Mutombo and the Hawks leading by 3. Dikembe Mutombo with 4 points early on. As we noticed much in game one, he really looks for his offense a lot more when Patrick Ewing's not playing him. Chris Dudley's in the game right now, and that certainly was the case in game one. And we talked to the participants about that.
Yeah, sometimes in the past that has been the case. But just really try to keep him from getting some easy baskets and make him earn everything. And, I have noticed that at times.
I feel comfortable also having Chris Garley, what his name is? Dudley. And I don't mind having him on the floor. It also gives me all the opportunity to dominate in the offense. And Patrick is a great defender. I'll do different things against him. I'll do different things against different players.
But it definitely looks, Clyde, whenever we've seen them, that when Ewing comes out, Mutombo looks for his offense much more.
Yeah, Dudley has trouble against Mutombo. Surprisingly, for some reason, Dudley plays well against the other side.
Smith misfires. Fight for the rebound underneath, taken by Camby. Camby's done a good job on the boards.
Smith woes continue from the perimeter.
Smith now 1 of 7 from the field. There you see the Knicks after the horrible start. Going to try and get Allen Houston on track. Camby, Dudley, Sprewell, Houston, and Childs on the floor for the Knicks. Smith on Sprewell now. 5 on the shot clock.
He's not aware of it.
Kicks it out. They have to throw it up. In and out. Camby with the offensive rebound. Houston now for 3. Way short. Ball tipped and taken by Long. Houston continues to struggle from the field. 0 for 4 with 3 turnovers. There's no question Hawks really keen on him. Well, he had a good look that time. Smith, nice feed off to Mark West, who's hammered. And West will shoot a couple of free throws.
I like the versatility of Smith. The only 1 of 7 from the field. But previously found Johnson inside with a nice pass. And now another good dish by Smith to help one of his teammates get to the line.
Can be his first foul. So the 38-year-old Mark West in his 16th year in the league will step to the line.
Not his forte. West more of a rebounder, intimidator.
He's a 57 as Ward about to come back in. Mark West is a 57% free throw shooter for his career. And this year, he was at 36%. Houston will sit down.
Sure, and you need playing time. The older you get, you need to get in some game action. Another brick by West.
Knicks trailing by 3. Just over a minute gone by in the second. Long with Al Chatwick and Clyde Frazier. Mike Green on hand. Sprewell explodes to the basket.
No one saw him. Everybody was concerned with Ward coming over the curl play. So Spree going in with their provocative stuff.
7 points in 8 minutes for Sprewell. Knicks down by 1. Smith off the screen. Steve Smith misses again. Ball tipped by Grant Long, and he puts it back. Grant Long now showing why he's been so valuable.
Yeah, asserting himself inside, so he's been resourceful on the offensive glass.
Long, Corbin, West, Johnson, and Smith out there right now for Atlanta. Blaylock getting a long rest, something he didn't have in game 1. Sprewell knocks down the shot. Boy, does he love playing at the Georgia Dome.
Spree starting to percolate. That time a good screen by Dudley off the curl play.
Knicks down by 1. 2 minutes gone by in the second. Anthony Johnson drives hard, misses it. Dudley the rebound. Quick outlet to Ward. Knicks with a 3-on-1 if they hurry. Ward lost it, however, and Smith tips it ahead.
Ward was going to try to fake and continue to the basket, but lost the handle.
Johnson side up, finding Grant Long. Ward is on Long, who wants to post him up. They kick it out to Smith. Long gets down low in the post. Ward trying to deny him. 7 on the shot clock. Now Long has it. There's the double team. Corbin makes his move, shooting over Camby. That won't go. And the Knicks able to secure it as Charlie Ward comes away. Childs drives in. Feed underneath to Dudley. Dudley flips it up, draws the foul. And Chris Dudley will shoot 2 as Mark West picks up his first. And we'll have timeout on the floor.
And let's take a look at Spree before we do. Watch the Hawks inside. No one saw him as he catapulted to the hoop.
Plenty of Knicks fans once again on hand at the Georgia Dome with 2:55 remaining in the second. The Knicks leading 34-31. Patrick Ewing back in the game. Ewing 6 points, 3 boards, and there you see the turnovers. Knicks 9 in the first half. Regular season, the Knicks turned the ball over far too much, but in the playoff, they're number 1 among remaining playoff teams. Number 3 overall. And there you see the turnovers way down. That's one of the big reasons for the success, Clyde.
And their shooting percentage, especially from the free throw line, also the leader in that respect as well.
Blaylock finding Smith. Johnson on Smith. Mutombo pass behind Blaylock. 4 on the shot clock. Blaylock has to hoist it up. Good defense from Charlie Ward. Rebound Camby. Marcus Camby with another board. Camby now in the first half, 8 rebounds. Again, they look for Sprewell. Ed Gray guarding him. Not enough space. Blaylock playing off Charlie Ward. They go inside to Ewing. Single coverage. Ewing against Mutombo. Ewing steps back. Tough off balance shot. Way short.
You saw the ball come off the heel of his wrist that time.
Knicks lead by 3. Remember, this was a game that started off disastrous for the Knicks. They missed their first 7 shots, were 1 of 15, and trailed by 11. Steve Smith draws the foul on the way to the basket. It's only the 3rd team foul as Larry Johnson picks up his 2nd.
Not a good effort by LJ. No points in the game for LJ. Smith, we alluded to his woes from the perimeter, so that time trying to get to the line, but in vain, the Hawks have it.
First foul in the last 2 minutes, so the next one, and the Knicks will be in a penalty. A couple of jab steps from Smith, wants to take Johnson one-on-one. Johnson doesn't go for the fake. Smith makes his move, tough running shot, way short. Rebound, kicked out by Mookie Blaylock. There's Ty Corbin, he misfires. Rebound tipped by Smith. Sprewell knocked out of his hands, picked up by Gray, goes right at Ewing and puts it in.
Yeah, good effort that time by the Hawks. 3 opportunities, and then Gray capitalized.
Nick lead cut to 1, just under a minute and a half remaining in the first. Camby, bad pass, Gray able to steal it.
Camby should have looked to shoot the ball. Nice shaking and baking by Blaylock.
Blocked by Camby, rejected off the glass, and Johnson picks it up.
Exquisite timing by Camby.
Sprewell against Gray. Good transition defense by the Hawks. Now Sprewell tries it again. Bank shot. Camby on the foul. They wave it off. Jeff Van Gundy incensed as they felt the ball was above the cylinder. It was very close by the naked eye.
Camby showing how splendid he can be. Previously the rejection. That time the huff and stuff. And let's take a look at it. Well, from this angle, it looked like it was a good dunk.
That's very close. And Gray inside. One dribble blocked by Camby. Ball knocked loose, picked up by Ward at 2-on-1. Ward to Sprewell. Sprewell lays it in, and a foul. Marcus Camby's block ignites another fast break.
Yeah. So Camby was down. He fell on the play. He's up now. So the team paying homage to Camby. He's 6'11". So he's been relentless on the defense. Superb timing. This time his rejection have the Knicks in a 2-on-1 scenario. Sprewell, who has been indomitable all game, again would not be denied, so he's at the line for 1.
Charlie Ward led that fast break very well. Look at Camby's numbers. With 10 boards already, 2 blocks. Jeff Van Gundy still upset at that offensive interference call.
See Camby's right arm, those characters there on his right arm in Chinese. One says, I love my family. The other one says, strive for perfection, and he's doing that now.
After hardly playing in Game 1, Camby making a huge impact in Game 2. He had a very big game in the Knicks' victory here at the Georgia Dome during the regular season. Half-minute remaining. Mutombo kicks it out. An open 3 for Blaylock. Knocks it down. That's really the first open 3 the Hawks have had in the first half.
And that was a timely hoop. The Hawks have been in an offensive stupor. Now they've tied the game.
Knicks will hold it for the last shot. Blaylock, 11 points. Sprewell looks up. 8 seconds remaining. Sprewell with Gray on him. Sprewell forces up the shot. Foul called on Ed Gray. And Sprewell will go back to the line. And the officials are starting to get a little upset with the constant complaining on each call. Fouls on Gray, his 2nd personal. And coming up, the Tri-State Jeep halftime report. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep dealer. Deb Kaufman back at the sports desk. Clyde will join Al Troutwig with first half highlights.
Sprewell like a man possessed, folks. He has that look in his eyes, so he's saying they can't stop me. And he's shown that in transition. That time on the jumper, changing the shot to get it in. Had struggled from the line and missed 2 consecutive free throws before switching out.
Anthony Johnson comes back in. Lenny Wilkins will call a 20-second timeout. The halftime score of Game 1 was 50-48. That was unexpected. This one's 37-36, more to what certainly everyone thought coming into the series.
Yeah, and watch Camby. Superb timing. See how far he's away from the offensive man. No foul call. And a good job by Ward, and Sprewell hell-bent to the hoop.
Clyde, one of Sprewell's strengths that we're starting to see, and we mentioned this earlier, is his ability to use his left hand once he gets the ball inside to switch the ball from the right to the left.
Yeah, that time the dexterity, because he's drawing the contact with the right hand and then hooping with the left. Yeah, you got plenty of heart, Spree. We see it.
Sprewell, as we mentioned, 17 points in the first half of Game 1. If he hits this free throw, he'll have 17 points in the first half of Game 2.
Averaging 16 in this series.
So the bench providing a real spark. Sprewell, Camby, and Chris Childs. And the Knicks starters started off very slow.
You know, the 3 guards and Camby and whoever else you want to put in there, man. They've been very productive.
Sprewell hits the second one. Blaylock, 4.5 seconds to go. Good defense from Sprewell. Blaylock trying to get a shot off. Flips it up at the buzzer. And a little too hard for Mookie Blaylock, and that ends the first half. The Knicks, who trailed by as many as 11 in the first half, erupt later on in the second quarter, led by Latrell Sprewell. Another 17-point half. And after the disastrous start, where they were 1 of 15 from the field, the Knicks recover. And they go into the locker room with a 2-point lead. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals from the Georgia Dome. Knicks 38, Hawks 36. More to come after this timeout.
We're back at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. The Knicks leading 38-36. Low-scoring affair along the lines of what we expected in this series. Tight defense is the prevailing thought here at halftime. I want to tell you that you can enjoy Sunday afternoon with the Knicks. 2 second-row VIP seats, and they're up for auction. That's for Game 3. You'll attend the pregame warm-ups, have lunch for 2 at the Gardens Club restaurant. The minimum bid is $2,500. Operators are standing by. They'll tell you what the bidding is. It all goes to help out the Cheering for Children Foundation. Call 212-465-4130. Actually, the proceeds go to the Red Holtzman Knicks Kids Foundation. The number is 212-465-4130. As the Knicks huddled up to return to the floor at the end of halftime, Johnny Hoops, John Andres, caught up with the assistant coach of the Knicks, Don Chaney, to get a feel and a sense of what they're telling the players.
Don, the team started slowly, then things picked up. What's the message from the coaches to the team at halftime?
We have to pick up our energy. They came out ready to play. We expected them to play hard and play with a lot of energy. We have to match that energy. We've messed up on a couple of fast break opportunities. We got to make sure we take care of the ball and get the ball to the right guy. And, we can't allow them to have second shots. That's the thing that scares me right now. Toward the end there, they start going to the boards and getting the second and third shots. We can't allow that.
Are you pleased with the bench play?
Yes, Sprewell really gave us a big lift. He came in with high energy, scored for us. So we're going to try to get him in early and get the ball to him as early as possible.
Thanks, Don.
11 turnovers for the Knicks, not a good thing. The only thing that they can look at is that that's exactly how many the Atlanta Hawks committed as well. So it's a 2-point game. Back to Mike Breen and Walt Clyde Frazier.
All right, Al, just one of the stats, the 11 turnovers for both teams, the 4 assists for both teams, not the ratio the coaches want. And the shooting numbers, good defense, certainly a lot to do with that, as the Hawks down at 32%. Both teams getting to the free throw line. Knicks struggling a bit after being such good from the line in the first game. But the bench points the key right there. Latrell Sprewell, such a surge. The Chris Crawford surge off the bench from game 1, not there because Crawford's starting. Nobody else able to pick up the slack for the Atlanta Hawks off the bench. Crawford, meanwhile, in the first half. Remember, he had 20 in game 1, only 2 in 10 minutes of play. He was 0 for 1 from the field.
And you think that's bad? Allen Houston, who had a playoff high, he had nothing in the first half.
Well, Clyde, 3 Knicks starters were scoreless. Allen Houston, Larry Johnson, and Kurt Thomas were combined 0 for 11, no points. And yet the Knicks are still winning by 2.
Right, that's what I alluded to. Mike Sprewell outscored the Knicks starting 5.
That's right. With Ewing and Ward had 11 points. The starting 5 had 11. Sprewell had 17. Blaylock, Long, Crawford, Smith, and Mutombo, same 5 that started for Atlanta. They lob it in. Smith double team, swing it out to Blaylock. 7 on the shot clock. Ward, good defense on him. Thomas picks him up on the screen. Blaylock gets away underneath, flips it up, misses. Mutombo the rebound, taken out of his hands by Thomas, but a 24-second violation.
And that's because the Blaylock shot did not hit the rim. If it had hit the iron, it would have been a new shot clock. So they received a frustration on that man's face.
Blaylock looked like he was going to have an excellent shot, but Ewing came over and altered the shot. Ewing, by the way, in that first half, 16 minutes, he had 6 points, 3 boards.
And also the Knicks starters did not attempt a free throw.
Houston, nice feed off to Ewing. Ewing, high arcing shot. Mutombo altered that one.
That's indicative of the fact they're relying too much on the perimeter shots. Conversely, Sprewell had 10 free throw attempts.
That's the area the Knicks like when Ewing's on the floor. He draws Mutombo out. Blaylock stumbling, picks it up top. Mutombo with the runner, way short. Ball tipped right back to Mutombo. Mutombo off the glass, that one misses. Ball tipped out to Houston.
Mutombo has been atrocious on the offense.
Knicks with a 4-on-3 if they hurry. Houston kicks it out to Ward. Ward with the floater. That shot won't go, and then he pushed off Mutombo to get the rebound. And Charlie Ward picks up his second foul. So the Hawks will get it back. No one's scored yet, and we've played a little over a minute.
So this offensive utility getting worse. You know, after a low score in first half, both teams off to an inauspicious beginning here early in the third quarter.
The Hawks have missed their first 3 shots from the field, and they're under 30% shooting.
Yeah, 2 of those by Mutombo previously in the paint.
Well, a sign of this year in the NBA, you're under 30% shooting and you're still in the game. Crawford shot, that won't go. Ewing the rebound. It's because the Knicks are only at 34%.
During the regular season, these two teams shot, the Hawks shot 38, the Knicks 36% from the field.
Johnson tied up, kicks it out to Ward. Wide open 3, won't go down. And over the backboard. No one near Charlie Ward.
Yeah, he had a good run early in the second quarter. He drained a 3-pointer, then a nice manipulating move into the paint area. But since then, he's misfired on a 2-pointer, and then that one from downtown.
Knicks lead is 2. We played nearly 2 minutes here in the third. Blaylock fakes the 3. 1 dribble, that's a 2, knocks it down.
Good duping and hooping by Blaylock, just showing Ward the ball. You saw him flying by. You're going to play defense. When a guy fakes the ball, you should just put your hand up. And that way you won't look silly like he did on that play.
Blaylock leads the Hawks, Clyde, with 13. Ewing against Mutombo. Ewing across the lane. The runner won't go. Ball tipped and taken by Crawford.
So it was Blaylock that propelled him early in the first quarter. He made his first 3 opportunities. Ward knocked it away.
Charlie Ward with the hands. Ward slows it down. Johnson fakes the 3. Down low to Kurt Thomas. Leans in, draws the foul. Shot won't go, but Grant Long is going to pick up his 4th foul.
And again, why would you try to be overzealous against a guy who has not scored? Thomas 0 for 5 from the field. So Long not playing with much prudence on that play. Again, like we saw Ward do, he left his feet, and that's why he was vulnerable to the foul.
So Kurt Thomas will go to the free throw line.
This is the first Knicks starter to attempt a free throw.
It's only the 3rd free throw in the postseason for Thomas, and the Knicks struggling. And there you see the numbers for the Knicks starters. Only Ward and Ewing scoring in the first half. Knicks, as we mentioned, #1 in the NBA in the postseason in free throw shooting, but they have struggled tonight. Just 10 of 16. Thomas gets his first point.
Previously, Ward stole the ball from Blaylock. Good D by Ward.
Crawford way off the mark. Blaylock tracks it down, kicks it back out. Steve Smith for 3. Way short. Ward the rebound. Not only are they missing, they're missing badly.
But the Hawks are getting second opportunities. That you saw Don Chaney being interviewed at the half, saying that's what the Knicks are concerned about. They must deny them second opportunity.
Johnson for 3. That's good. Larry Johnson from downtown. His first attempt from that distance and his first points of the night. And the Knicks go up by 4. Johnson was 1 of 6 from 3-point range in game 1.
The Hawks now just opening up the court. Maybe not enough guys in the offensive play.
Dick Bavetta was about to call an illegal defense, but Jeff Van Gundy pointed out that Patrick Ewing was not guarding Dikembe Mutombo, therefore did not have to be up above the free throw line because Mutombo above the 3-point circle. And Bavetta smartly said, my mistake, bad call, no illegal defense, Hawks take it out.
But what the Hawks are doing, they have 3 guys on the strong side of the court and then 2 guys on the weak side. That way the Knicks can't double team.
4 on the shot clock. Long backs in. Thomas doesn't go for the fake. Heats it up. No good. And the ball goes off Larry Johnson's leg. Let's see if it's a 24-second violation first. Yes. Even though it went off Johnson's leg, the shot clock expired. And Kurt Thomas, you could not play better post defense than he did on that sequence.
Right. So Thomas was the guy they were trying to isolate one-on-one. Superb job. And that's the second time we've seen the Hawks put up a shot clock violation here early in the third quarter.
Maybe you saw Jeff Van Gundy giving Thomas a pat on the behind as he went up the floor. Proud of the defense. Thomas has it knocked out of his hands. Knicks lead by 4. We've played nearly 4 minutes here in the third. Blaylock with his spin move.
Good help by Ewing that time. Mutombo was late coming up, so good effort by Ewing.
Crawford against Johnson. And a foul on Larry Johnson, his third. Crawford to shoot 2.
Yeah, we see a lot of folly now by the players, folks. When you're in a game like this where neither team can score, to me it's inexplicable that you would foul someone. Let them shoot. Not let them shoot, but keep them in front of you. If they attempt a shot, do what you should do, get a hand in their face, but don't foul.
Especially because the Hawks are shooting 28% from the field.
Crawford at that time was off balance trying to make that shot. Andy Wilkins talking to Blaylock now, trying to settle down his team. I played against Wilkins. He was my nemesis. He could only go left, folks, but you couldn't stop him.
Didn't matter.
He was so quick off the dribble. Actually was a player on the coach, and then early in his career, he was a player coach.
Now just sticks to the coaching. Says he still likes the coach as long as the players continue to respond and listen, and that's been the case with this team. Johnson has it knocked away. Long goes to double team. They kick it out to Thomas. Long jumper won't go. Rebound Crawford. That one a little out of Kurt Thomas's range, and Jeff Van Gundy was not happy with the shot.
A little razzle-dazzle by Blaylock.
Blaylock kicks it out to Long. Grant Long. And tumble on the follow.
Ewing lackluster on that play. No one boxing him out.
And the game tied at 42. Dikembe Mutombo, 6 points. He has 11 rebounds. Houston still scoreless for the Knicks. Ewing goes at Mutombo. Here comes a double team. Feed inside to Thomas. Had it, lost it, and it's going to be hawk ball.
There you see why Thomas has been open. Because Long has been the guy double teaming. They've been leaving Thomas open. He can't capitalize, so another turnover by the Knicks.
Latrell Sprewell, the big first half, 17 points, still awaiting to come into the game in the third.
You saw that impatient look on Sprewell's face, like, get me back in there.
Crawford 3 way off. Charlie Ward the rebound. Ward comes the other way. Knicks go to Johnson. Crawford's done a pretty good job defending him.
LJ's only hoop has been from downtown.
There's the double team. We're seeing that on most of the post-ups for the Knicks. Johnson again double team. Finding Thomas, knocked away by Smith, picked up by Houston. Houston makes his move, knocked out of his hands, picked up by Crawford. Ahead is Steve Smith, and he couldn't hold on.
A calamity for both teams now. They need to talk it over.
Timeout with 6:22 remaining. A sloppy third quarter. The Knicks and Hawks all tied up at 42. Remember, when you're having good times with good friends, drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser. 6:22 remaining in the third. Knicks and Hawks all even at 42. Nick perhaps fortunate to be even considering the game Allen Houston is having. Houston, after having one of the best games of his career in game one, the 34-point outing, really struggling in game two. He has yet to score. 0 for 4 from the field, plus 4 turnovers. What's the difference?
He has not asserted himself. The Knicks have not tried to get him on track, so they haven't run any plays for him. Only 4 opportunities for a guy that's coming off a career high. So they have to look to get him more involved, Mike. But that's why he's an enigma, because he has a tendency to not get involved in the offense if he's not featured.
The Hawks are looking to double team him when he takes it to the hole, certainly much more than in game one.
So now Spree's in the game.
Houston shooting over Smith. Line drive, no good. Mutombo a rebound. So Allen Houston remains scoreless. Game over, still tied at 42. Remember the Miami game on Sunday. Houston did not play well for most of the game, but did not let it affect him, certainly on the final shot.
Mutombo, very erratic shooter in this game thus far.
Shot clock winding down. Good defense from Ewing. Mutombo kicks it out. Blaylock on the leaner. In and out, no good but a foul.
Nice shaking and baking by Blaylock. He's showing some new moves off the dribble. We've seen him dupe Ward, show him the ball. Ward goes flying by. So Blaylock takes one dribble to shoot. This time a nice stutter dribble to get inside of Ward and then create the foul.
Charlie Ward is third, trying to plead his case.
Watch the double shake right there. That's how he got in front of Ward and then able to get his body on him to draw the foul.
I think Ward has a legitimate beef on that one as Blaylock misses the first.
So the offensive utility has been astounding in this game. So both teams pathetic.
You see the black armband we talked about throughout the season. That, of course, for the late Red Holzman. Blaylock misses the second. Jeff Van Gundy saying the other day that Red Holzman would be proud of the way the Knicks shared the ball recently down the stretch. Houston tied up, finding Johnson. Johnson against Smith, makes his quick move, shot blocked, but a foul. Blaylock able to get a hand on it, but also a piece of the arm. And Mookie Blaylock picks up his second. Johnson to the free throw line. And look at this, Clyde. Both teams with the field goals and turnovers nearly the same.
Right, and the Knicks among the leaders in the fewest turnovers entering this game, only 12. The Hawks only 13 a game. So it's been a disaster for both teams.
And that free throw from Larry Johnson, the Knicks' first points in 3 minutes and 22 seconds.
And it has not been because of a swarming, smothering defense. Both teams have had good looks and can't get them down, and they've been sputtering from the line as well.
Johnson hits a pair. Knicks up 2, 5.5 remaining, third quarter. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Knicks hoping to take a commanding 2-0 lead. Hawks looking to even the series, sending it back to New York for games 3 and 4 on Sunday and Monday at the Garden.
This game more of a reality of what the series will look like.
Excellent ball denial from the Knicks. Crawford with Sprewell on him. Crawford makes his move, drives underneath, shot's good, and a foul.
Sprewell has exploited Crawford tonight. So he has a couple of three-point opportunities against Crawford. Crawford retaliates this time. Watch Sprewell. Again, along the baseline, players having trouble. Right there, his body contact got him in trouble. He should have eased up, should have let Crawford go. So a nice swish by Crawford. He's at the line as well.
Sprewell's first foul, Crawford hits. And the Hawks have their first lead of the second half.
And that's inexplicable for Sprewell. Crawford 6'9", Spree only 6'5". He should not let this guy elude him.
Sprewell on the other side, trying to elude Crawford. Pulls up for the jumper, shot no good. Blaylock the rebound. Hawks push it up. Blaylock likes that three in transition, doesn't get it. Smith the drive, left-handed, flips it up, and Mutombo on the foul.
Again, you ain't looking. Mutombo cooking with the good stuff.
And a timeout called by the Knicks. Dikembe Mutombo. Now with 8 points and 13 boards, the Hawks lead by 3 with 4:39 to go in the third. The Atlanta Hawks on a 9-2 run with just over 4.5 to play in the third. Knicks now trailing by 3. Our Toyota matchup. Allen Houston is having a very difficult game. 0 for 5 from the field, 4 turnovers. Steve Smith, though, not much better, as you expect both of these to erupt at some point in the game.
Previously, Smith got inside, missed the shot. Mutombo there to finish it off. So offensive rebounding catapulting the Hawks now.
You do have to credit certainly both defenses for shutting down the opposing 2-guard. Ward brings it up. It's looking for their first field goal in over 4 minutes.
This is when the Hawks defense is stifling in the half court.
Sprewell knocks it down, and that ends that drought. Knicks down by 1. Sprewell now with 19.
That's what he averaged against this team during the regular season.
Grant Long on Johnson. Sprewell has Crawford. Houston on Smith. Smith posting up. Ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Sprewell. Still Hawk ball, 9 on the shot clock. Substitution. Childs will come in and Charlie Ward will sit down. Ward 5 points and 2 assists as he goes to the bench.
You like that hand slap there. One guy coming out, the other guy saying, all right, your turn now, take over. Good teamwork there.
Childs played well in the first half. Part of the bench really delivering once again. Blaylock to run a tough shot, won't go. Everybody mistimed their jump and Sprewell comes away. Childs setting up the offense. Sprewell going down low in the post. Ewing follows, sets the screen. Childs pulls up for the 2, way off the mark. Came off his hands, funny.
Childs likes to come into the game shooting right away.
Crawford foul as Childs commits the foul. Crawford should have put it in, did not. That's one of those where you normally criticize because it was going to be an easy 2 for Crawford, but Childs just got enough to stop the easy points.
Watch Crawford travel though, right here. Look at that. That's a travel. Not a travel. That's running. Very blatantly so. They don't call that these days. Just like carrying the ball.
You rarely see that call when a player gets it and makes the move right toward the goal like that. And Crawford hits the first free throw for Childs on that personal, his second.
Kid a good find for the Hawks. Only a second-round pick 2 years ago. Now starting for the Hawks.
This is the second. Knicks down 2. 3.5 to play in the third. Knicks have hit a sluggish spot right here in the third quarter.
No offensive cohesion.
Houston off the screen. The jumper is good. Finally, Allen Houston with his first points of the game. And he does it with 3.5 remaining in the third.
That time the curl play. Good screen by Ewing to free him up.
Game tied at 48. Blaylock puts it up and puts it in. Mookie Blaylock, the two-pointer.
Mookie very potent off the pick and roll. That's when he does most of his damage. So the Knicks must communicate on the pick and roll play.
Blaylock, the Hawks' leading scorer with 15. Blaylock and Sprewell, the only two players in double figures in points.
And ironically, during the regular season, those were the two guys that led in their respective teams. Blaylock averaged 18 against the Knicks.
Sprewell loses it. Blaylock knocks it away, picked up by Crawford. Here's Crawford, goes right at Childs, running shot, won't go. Rebound tip, good effort from Crawford.
Crawford should have given the ball to Blaylock. They had a 2-on-1.
And the Hawks settle down and set up the offense. They want to go to Grant Long. Childs is on him on a mismatch. Shot is way short. Houston a rebound. Boy, the shooting has been horrible tonight. Childs kicks it out. Sprewell a three. Won't go. Mutombo tips it to himself. The shooting percentages, 30% for the Hawks, 34 for the Knicks.
Both teams showing attrition now. Fatigue becoming a factor here late in the third quarter.
You know, Clyde, the legs look heavy out there. Blaylock simply gives it away. Mutombo picks up the loose ball. Crawford has it 4 on the shot clock. Now he makes his move. The runner puts it up. No good. Ewing lost the rebound. Picked up by Grant Long. Mutombo's shaken up. He got hit in the face again. And Mutombo has to call timeout. A 20-second timeout called by the Hawks as Dikembe Mutombo. He took a shot in the nose in the first half. Took another one in that sequence.
Yeah, but he's the nose breaker. He's broken a couple of noses this season, has Mutombo. This time Ewing going to that time slapped the ball, inadvertently slapping Mutombo in the face with the back of his hand. Watch this. Sort of like a slap from behind right there. He gets him in the face.
So Ewing inadvertently slapping his good friend. You know, you hear players talk about that a lot, about good friends with each other, but these two are extremely close. It's not just talk. And they both say that they're like brothers. And they've had a long time relationship and have a lot of respect and admiration for each other.
Patrick, though, has been very lethargic in the game. Mutombo has been able to capitalize on missed shots with dunk shots. So Mutombo, folks, unequivocally, Mike, the longest name ever in the NBA. Dikembe Mutombo Pelodo Mukamba Jean-Jacques Mutombo.
That's his full name, believe it or not.
So that's why they took his first two names. Dikembe Mutombo to shorten it up.
3 on the shot clock. Smith draws the foul. Shot won't go, but Smith will shoot a couple as Allen Houston picks up the personal. That's his first.
So Smith, like Houston, has been inept on the offense. So that time getting the dribble penetration. So watch Smith. Watch the elbow right here that he puts on Allen. This basket would have been good if it had gone. The continuation was in effect. But like most of Smith's shots tonight, they've carried him off the hoop. He's only a ghastly 1 of 13 from the field.
That is hard to believe. This is hard with Allen Houston's start. He was 0 for 5, finally hit a shot. Smith knocks down a free throw. And the difference in Smith's game tonight, that's only his second free throw attempt. Smith went to the line 14 times in game 1.
Not a good percentage shooter, Smith. They're only around 40% from the field, but that free throw percentage, an excellent free throw shooter, about 79%.
Knicks are down by 4. The Knicks have only scored 10 points here in the third quarter. Ewing wants the ball. Ewing has not been a factor. Hands it back to Childs. Childs into Johnson, lost it. Head fake, kicks it out to Ewing. Ewing with the jump shot, puts it in. Patrick Ewing now with 8, and the Knicks down 2.
And LJ not getting rattled as he was inside, swarmed by Hawks, was able to find Ewing.
We're approaching a minute remaining in the third. There's been a very physical defensive battle, especially here in the third quarter.
Knicks are in the penalty.
Ewing battling Mutombo, puts up the hook shot, won't go. Ewing the rebound. Houston and Smith holding on to each other down the other end, grabbing each other's jerseys.
It was a good box out by Allen, taking Smith out of bounds.
Johnson, quick move and puts it in on a pretty entry pass from Sprewell. The Knicks have tied it up.
Previously, LJ dishing to Ewing, this time hooping off the glass.
Larry Johnson Now it's 7 points, all here in the third. Smith, ball deflected by Johnson, picked up by Childs. Throws it ahead to Sprewell. Beautiful pass, and Sprewell completes the break.
The tomahawk stuff by Spree, and we saw this in game 1 in the third quarter. The Hawks not getting back in transition.
Great look from Chris Childs, who picks up his 4th assist. Knicks back up by 2. Blaylock finding Mutombo. Smith off the screen, fires way off the mark. Childs the rebound. Knicks with plenty of time to get off a shot. Houston ahead of the back, goes underneath, puts it up, shot no good. And Crawford the rebound. Final seconds here in the third quarter. Crawford for 3. Air ball and a fitting way for this quarter to end. Disastrous shooting from both teams. However, the Knicks finished the quarter on a 6-0 run. 3 quarters complete in game 2. A 2-point Knick lead. A low-scoring affair here in Game 2 from the Georgia Dome. Knicks leading the Hawks 54-52. Latrell Sprewell leading the Knicks and certainly leading the electricity here at the Georgia Dome with some of his moves.
They're the deft hands.
And Clyde, listen to the crowd, how they react to him. So many Knicks fans are here once again. That was the case in Game 1. And Grant Long of the Hawks has an explanation for that.
New York is a team that's, it's almost like the Dallas Cowboys. They're America's team in a way. Same thing for the Yankees. And you can even go a step further and say the Braves. Everyone likes the Braves as far as baseball is concerned. And no matter where you go, they're going to be New York fans. They're transplanted here. They're transplanted everywhere. So, it's not a downside for us. It's just that, they have fans across the nation.
Canby lays it in. I don't know if I agree with that, Clyde. We've been with the Knicks in many cases over the past several years, including this year. They've been almost villains on the road. But there are certain cities where there are a lot of transplanted New Yorkers like Miami and Atlanta. But overall, I would not call the Knicks America's team. They have a lot of fans. It's Gray. Bad shot. He puts it in. And Gray knocking it down. But it's more of the location of where we are.
Well, Grant Long, I was talking to him prior to the game. He told me that he heard you mentioning that on the Irish show.
Well, that's always my tongue-in-cheek description of the Knicks. Don't believe a thing I say between 6 and 10 a.m., Clyde. Sprewell on the fallback. Shot won't go. Ball tipped by Long. Saves it to Blaylock. Knicks lead by 2.
Look at the mismatch. Childs and Crawford. Childs tenaciously defending him and drawing the foul.
Offensive foul on Crawford, who's not agreeing. His 4th. But excellent defense from Chris Childs.
Childs would not let him post him up. So working diligently. Watch Childs working diligently to deny him right here. Crawford a little frustration pushing right there. And that will get him the foul.
So Crawford with 4 fouls. Houston gets it. Quick turn and shot. Won't go. Rebound goes to Crawford. Houston,
like Smith, all of his shots hitting the front of the rim.
That's right. Houston 1 of 8. Smith 1 of 14. Knick lead is 2. Long not expecting it. Canby with the long arms grabs it. Throws it ahead to Houston. Alley up to Sprewell. Broken up beautifully by Blaylock. And Canby kicks it out of bounds.
And that's why you see Blaylock led the league in steals the last 2 seasons, among the leaders this year. And we just paid homage to Childs for an outstanding defensive play. Blaylock, the smallest man on the court. Watch this. Denying the 6'5" screen, then knocking it off with Canby. So superb D by Blaylock.
Not a good pass from Houston. Ed Gray again hoisted up. And it goes over the backboard out of bounds. Boy, Gray is unbelievable. I mean, it's a matter of how many seconds it takes before he fires away. He's taken 8 shots in 11 minutes. Knicks by 2. Nearly 2 minutes gone by in the 4th.
Gray has the quintessential shooter's mentality. Sooner or later, I'll get hot.
Ewing and Mutombo. Here comes the double team. Ewing spins away. Tough shot. He puts it in. Patrick Ewing now in double figures as the Knicks go up by 4.
Not a lot of moving and grooving by Ewing. That time, not good fluidity, but he was able to drain the jumper.
The key there, Clyde, is he initially got the ball pretty deep in the post. Something he's not been able to do.
Look at the help by Ewing on the D. Coming over the screens, helping out.
Mutombo deep. Ewing pokes it away. Mutombo picks it up. 4 on the shot clock. Childs guarding Blaylock. Blaylock has to hoist it up. Tough shot. and a 24-second violation. Chris Childs' defense has been spectacular here in the fourth quarter to start.
Previously against Crawford, this time on Blaylock, the Hawks have had 3 shot clock violations in the second half.
Knicks lead by 4 early in the fourth. Time for our Coke Classic play. And for this edition, we take you back to the playoffs of 1988, May 4th to be exact. And this against the Boston Celtics, game 3 of the series that the Knicks would lose. Patrick Ewing had a big game. He wasn't the only Knick, however. Johnny Newman had a huge game as well. We talked about Sprewell and Houston having 30 points together in game 1 of this series. Well, these two were able to do it. This was only the second time in Knick history that 2 players had 30-plus in a playoff game, Newman and Ewing. Cazzie Russell and Dick Barnett also did it back in 1968.
Yeah, I was there. I caught that there.
I'm sure you had a few assists in that one. There you see the shooting numbers. Hawks continue to struggle. Amazing they're still in the game. Well, the Knicks don't shoot all that much better. Sprewell with 8 on the shot clock. Johnson kicks it out. Ewing squares. Comes up short. I don't know how many times I've said short tonight on shots.
Because guys are aiming their shots. That time Ewing shooting with his arms and not his legs.
3 minutes have been played here in the fourth. Anyone's game in a critical battle. Blaylock lost it, able to get it back. Fires away. Way off. Rebound. Sprewell took it out of Braun's hands. Good deflection.
That's the other reason why their shooting percentage is so poor. Ill-advised shots.
What a shot from Camby. It won't go, but he draws the foul. The adjustment in midair. It looked like it was going to drop. Instead, he'll shoot as Grant, or check that, Crawford picks up his 5th.
Sometimes some amazing grace from Camby. 6'11", 220, has been creating havoc on the defense. This time wheeling inside, not getting the bounce, but he's at the line for 2.
Camby missing on the first free throw. Camby from the free throw line now 7 of 12 in the postseason. Camby getting a laugh about something out there. He's upset, certainly, that he missed the free throw. Coming up on the MSG Sports Desk tonight at 11. We'll have plenty more on the postgame in addition to our postgame from the Georgia Dome. Both the Yankees and the Red Sox continuing their battle, and the Mets in a doubleheader. Camby hits the second. Knicks lead by 5. The Hawks led by 11 to start the game. It was 13-2. Knicks missed their first 7 shots. A disastrous start, but the Knicks bounced back quickly. This, by the way, is the Knicks' largest lead of the game. Ed Gray, nice fake. Drive underneath, puts it in.
As you saw Sprewell flying by, partner saying of defense, don't go for the fake, stay on your feet.
Overall, we're kidding about Gray, and he does shoot like crazy. He's an effective scorer. He's 5 of 9, 11 points.
The Hawks in dire need of scoring right now.
Backdoor play to Sprewell, kicks it out to Dudley, who just checked in. 8 on the shot clock. Childs touch pass to Johnson. That's a 3. It's good. Larry Johnson, his second 3-pointer of the game, and the Knicks go up by 6, their largest of the game. Johnson was wide open as the Knicks unselfish on that sequence. Ed Gray drives, draws the foul, and puts it in. And Gray pumps his fist in the air.
Watch a splendid move by Gray. You can see the bulk on him, but he's also light on his feet. So watch this time the stutter dribble on Sprewell. Right there, little shake and bake to get inside, drawing the contact and completing the shot.
So Gray, chance for the 3-point play. Gray, a first-round pick of Atlanta back in '97 out of Cal, as Clyde said. But his rookie year, he broke his right foot, didn't play much. Got himself in great shape, was ready to have a big second season. But as we told you during game 1, he got in trouble with the law. Was charged with DUI and marijuana possession. Lenny Wilkins had his fill of them, and he just didn't play him. That time Gray reaches in and calls the foul, as he's wasting a lot of talent, but he's certainly exhibiting it here in game 2.
All right, here's his previous play. Watch Sprewell going for it. He didn't fake the ball. So Gray again, very adept off the dribble penetration.
Picks up his 3rd foul down the other end. Camby makes his move. Marcus Camby, what a play! With authority.
Yeah, the reverberating rim rocker by Camby over Mutombo.
Camby now 11 points, 11 rebounds, and he has electrified the crowd with that slam.
Yeah, they are on their feet now.
Gray makes his move, shooting over Dudley. Rebound taken by Johnson. Boy, Gray is all over the place. Knicks lead by 6. 7 minutes remaining here in the fourth.
Game about to get away from the Hawks.
Childs stops in a travel. Good call from the officials. Just took a little extra hop step.
And watch Camby this time, folks. Going right down the lane with Mutombo. Look out below.
Knicks leading by 6 here in the fourth. In game one, Marcus Camby, 10 minutes, just 2 points and 2 rebounds. But he is taking advantage of all his playing time with a spectacular performance.
The blaster over Mutombo, but Dudley was keeping Mutombo occupied, so he didn't see Camby until it was too late.
Camby with 11 points, 11 rebounds, 2 block shots. He's 5 of 6 from the field.
Camby out of UMass, that time looking like another guy from there, Howie Singer. I mean, Dr. J.
Our producer, Howie Singer, of course, a minute man. Ty Corbin, an open three-pointer, doesn't go. Rebound taken by Long, but a foul before the shot. And they're going to call a double foul against Mutombo and Dudley. They were really battling on the boards as that shot went up. Dick Pavetta says a double foul.
Mutombo baffled all evening by fouls. He had 3, so that should be his fourth. Watch underneath the right side of your screen, right there. I thought Dudley was holding him from the angle that we had on that play.
Looked at there. Dudley, meanwhile, picks up the foul. That's his 3rd. And because the Hawks had possession at the time of the double foul, they'll get the ball out of bounds.
There you see Smith and Mutombo. Tumultuous night for both of them. Smith 1 of 14, Mutombo 3 of 9, but has 15 bounds.
Smith looking for Corbin. Corbin to Long. Long has been bothered a bit by Camby's length. Long backs in. Camby trying to poke it away. Ball knocked away by Childs. Picked up by Sprewell. 2-on-1 break. Sprewell draws the foul. Gray, a hard foul. Chris Childs' defense forcing the turnover. And a couple of free throws coming up for the Knicks.
Sprewell ever present on the D. Always around the loose ball. Watch Childs there. The good hand. Looked like a foul.
Yes, it did.
Call. So Childs finally gets a break, Mike. Normally he'd be complaining now to the officials about that.
Gray his 4th foul. Sprewell at the line, 7 of 10. He's got 21 total points.
It was 9 of 9 from the line in game 1 with Sprewell.
The Knicks now with a 7-point lead. This is their largest lead of the game.
The Hawks need look no further than the turnover woes. 20, giving up 18 points to the Knicks.
Sprewell rattles in 2.
And that's a very telling stat, folks, because not only are the Hawks turning the ball over, but they're not getting back in transition. Knicks have 17 turnovers, but they've gotten back. The Hawks have only been able to get 8 points.
Knicks able to get the points. Open look to Long. That won't go. Sprewell tips it out to Childs. Childs has been all over the floor here in the 4th quarter.
Literally and figuratively stumbling that time for regaining his composure.
We're just past the midway point of the 4th. Sprewell over Gray. It's good and a foul. Latrell Sprewell gives the Knicks a 10-point lead with 5:45 to play.
And this small unit has created havoc for the Hawks. In game 1, they ran amok. And now Sprewell again having his way. This time along the baseline.
Chris Childs with a good entry pass.
So Gray doesn't have the experience to deny him. Crawford doesn't have the quickness. So the Hawks in a quagmire is what to do with Sprewell.
5 fouls on Gray. Sprewell hits the free throw. Knicks on a 7-0 run. And they lead by 9.
Hawks have been languishing on the offense. A good swarming D by the Knicks.
Excuse me, Clyde. They lead by 11 as they get my math straight. 69-58. Foul on Childs. And Childs just raised his hand and said yes. He just agreed that a foul was called on him, Clyde. This is a monumental moment.
It's because he knew he got away with one previously.
He has been magnificent here in the 4th quarter. And a lot of what he's doing will not show up in the box score, as you see the Knicks outscoring the Hawks here in the 4th thus far.
Look where the Hawks are on the perimeter. 29 feet away trying to run the offense.
Smith. Johnson right up on in. Smith now pulls back, 3-pointer, tough shot. He rattles it in. That's a 2. His foot was on the line. And just his 2nd field goal. He's now 2 for 15 from the field. 5 minutes remaining. Knicks lead by 9. drives hard, tied up there, kicks it back out. Shot is up, rolls off, no good. Mutombo, and a loose ball foul call against Chris Dudley.
Dudley shouldn't create. Mutombo is inside, has the ball. No reason to reach in and get the foul.
Fourth on Dudley for the Knicks, just their third team foul. And Dudley will come out, Ewing will come back in.
And Dudley denies himself playing time because of his imprudence with his fouls. That time he should have just let the ball go. Mutombo had it, just get back on the D.
Dudley, 4 fouls. Remember, he played 31 minutes in game 1, played very well. Smith out to long. Back out Blaylock. Childs get right up on him. Blaylock was hoping for a 3. Camby on the double team. Shot clock down to 4. Blaylock gets away. Hoist up, forces a shot, and a foul call. Good move from Mookie Blaylock with the shot clock winding down.
Childs did not go for the fake, but then he reached in. Also, when he had Blaylock, he should not have let him come along the side. Watch where he gets in trouble right here. He should be trying to get in front of Blaylock. See right there? He came on the side, and that's what got him in trouble.
Just a little bit of a lunge, and they call the foul on him.
Right, should have moved his feet a couple of more times to get in front of Blaylock to deny his penetration.
8-point game. Childs talking with Dick Bavetta.
Other than that, Childs has been the catalyst on the D. Good hands on the D and harassing Blaylock.
Blaylock misses. Mutombo got away with a push, but the Knicks hold on to possession. Ewing got shoved out of the way. Knicks fortunate, though. 8-point lead, under 4.5 to play.
No fouls to give for either team.
Sprewell wants to post up. Smith, good ball denial. 7 on the shot clock. Sprewell makes his move, lost his dribble, 3 on the shot clock. Sprewell's going to have to force it up at the buzzer, and he doesn't get it off in time. Good defense from Steve Smith. Excellent defense.
Because they were looking for Spree along the baseline, and Smith denied him both times and then forced the shot clock violation.
Plenty of time remaining in this one. 4 minutes left. The Knicks lead is 8.
Hawks, though, do not have a hot hand, and the Knicks bailing them out with foolish fouls. LJ, the culprit this time.
So Johnson picks up his 4th, and the Knicks now over the limit. And they put, of all people, Steve Smith on the line, one of the better free throw shooters in the league.
Just asinine play by the Knicks. Watch LJ. There. And he doesn't have a gripe. He had his arms around the man.
Smith now with 8 points, and Jeff Van Gundy wants to call a timeout. So the Hawks on a mini run with just under 4 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. Knicks holding on to a 7-point lead. Just under 4 to play here in the 4th quarter. And speaking of the New York Yankees, tomorrow, Paul O'Neill on the Yanks go against Frank Thomas and the White Sox. First pitch set for 8 o'clock. And then on Saturday, Yanks and the White Sox continue their weekend series. 7 o'clock start right here on MSG. Plenty of Yankee baseball this weekend on the MSG network.
Previously ill-advised foul by LJ, sending Smith to the line, and this is what the Hawks want. Stop the clock, and they can take some points off the board.
Smith a total of 8 points. Now with 9, and a mini 5-0 run here by the Hawks, and the lead is cut to 6. Childs backing in. Smith has done a good job denying Sprewell the ball last couple of possessions. And this time a foul call against Atlanta. I believe it's Mutombo. Nope, they call it on Smith, his first, grabbing the jersey of Sprewell. And that's only the 4th team foul.
So they're in the penalties. Sprewell look like he's at the line to shoot.
All right, that is a 50. Excuse me. That's right, Clyde. So Sprewell will go there.
Sprewell, invincible, indefensible tonight.
And it's the first free throw. Of course, the Knicks beating Miami, Atlanta beating Detroit. The winner will play the winner of the Philadelphia-Indiana series. Pacers holding home court in the first 2 of that series. Sprewell hits another. Latrell Sprewell, 31 points in game 1, 28 here in game 2. The Knicks lead is 8 with just over 3.5 to play.
Knicks very foul prone in this scenario.
Smith misses a 3. Marcus Camby with his 13th rebound of the game.
Going down the stretch, you want to minimize your fouls, especially when you have the lead.
An 8-point lead with 3:20 left. Knicks trying to take a commanding 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 series.
Ewing in the tumble, battling on the low post.
Ewing 4 on the shot clock. Tough fall-away shot. That's good. Patrick Ewing, a big shot. And the Knicks go up by 10 with 3 minutes remaining.
Ewing hasn't had many hoops, but they've been very timely along the baseline.
12 points for Ewing. The tumble far from the basket. They're trying to get it to Smith. Blaylock comes out. Childs right on him.
Should let Smith shoot.
Crawford goes underneath, runs into Ewing. And an offensive foul. No, a blocking foul. Ronnie Nunn, the outside official, was ready to call an offensive foul, but Dick Bavetta says no. And he overruled him, and Ewing picks up his third. That's very close. That is such a tough call to make.
I think the stance, his stance was more than shoulder width. Watch Ewing spin along the baseline. He knew Blaylock was coming to double team.
That was very close, that one. Officials will tell you it's the toughest call to make as Crawford knocks down the first free throw.
That's why they have that dotted line where you see LJ walking around there.
Right. If Ewing was inside the restricted area, it would obviously be a blocking. We couldn't see it on that particular replay as Crawford hits the second.
So free throw shooting keeping the Hawks in the game. Previously Smith, this time Crawford.
A little over 2.5 remaining in the fourth. Knicks lead by 8. Childs finding Sprewell. Sprewell falls down, trying to get rid of it. Loses the ball, picked up by Blaylock. Costly turnover as Blaylock comes the other way.
Sprewell should have just smothered the ball and drew a jump ball scenario.
Smith goes out underneath, passes to Long, and he lays it in. And Jeff Van Gundy wants another timeout.
The ill-advised fouls and turnovers now hurting the Knicks.
And Van Gundy was upset. Sprewell, after the turnover, did not hustle down the other end of the floor. And the Hawks will pull within 6 with 2:17 remaining. 2:17 remaining. Fourth quarter at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals. Knicks leading by 6. And our MCS Cannon game summary. The shooting percentage is much lower than they were in Game 1. The turnover is much higher. But once again, the consistent factor is Latrell Sprewell and the Knicks bench.
Right. And Camby has been very provocative in the game. And Sprewell they've had no answer for him. But on that previous play when Sprewell lost the ball, folks, he should have smothered the ball and drew a jump ball scenario. Kept trying to come up with it and lost it. Then Van Gundy got angry at him because he did not get back in transition.
Knicks still lead by 6, 2:17 left. Timeouts remaining. Knicks have 2, the Hawks have 3. Both teams in the penalty. And don't forget, coming up a little later tonight, the MSG Sports Desk. Deb Kaufman will be back. More Knicks Hawks on our continuing postgame coverage. Yanks and the Red Sox, all of baseball. And then Marv at 11 o'clock on the MSG Sports Desk.
Both teams have to be tentative. No fouls to give on the D.
Sprewell with 8 on the shot clock. They try and isolate with him and Smith. Ewing sets a screen. Sprewell finding Ewing. Ewing sees the shot clock. Tough fall-away shot. Puts it up. No good. Blaylock the rebound. Under 2 minutes remaining. Knicks holding on to a 6-point lead. They've led by as many as 11 here in this fourth quarter.
The fouling has kept the Hawks in the game and the Knicks turnovers.
Hawks desperate to tie the series. Crawford fakes the 3. Johnson on him. Puts up the 3. Way short, an air ball. And the Knicks get it back with 1:33 remaining. Crawford's magic not here in game 2. He's just 1 of 7.
Saw Lenny Wilkins could not believe it. So ill-advised shot attempt by Crawford. Sometimes you have too much adrenaline going. I think Crawford had at that time.
A horrible 3-point shooting from the Hawks. Johnson wants the ball, yelling at Childs to give it to him. Johnson and Crawford one-on-one. So far, no double team. Johnson holding it. 10 on the shot clock. Grant Long leaking over. Long goes to double. Johnson flips it to Camby, goes out to Ewing. Up top to Childs, a 3. Off the mark, Long the rebound. 1:08 remaining, a 6-point Knick lead.
The Hawks want to draw a foul here if they can. Try to get the ball inside.
Blaylock tries to get away from Ewing. Childs stays right with him. Now Steve Smith. Camby picks him up on a switch. Smith looks up. Blaylock, 8 on the shot clock. Back out to Smith. Smith makes his move. Kicks it out to Long. Long fakes. 2 on the shot clock. Jumper's up. No good. Rebound tipped by Mutombo. Johnson cuts away with it. A huge rebound on a foul called with 43 seconds remaining. And the Knicks holding on to a 6-point lead.
That time, splendid defense keeping the Hawks on the perimeter. That time you saw the Knicks were not swarming to the ball, playing man-to-man, and then doing a good job denying them the second opportunity.
Ewing boxing out Mutombo. That was key. And then Johnson, the rebound in traffic. Crawford is fouled out. And now Larry Johnson, who had one of his best seasons, in fact, his second best season since his rookie year at the free throw line, will go there for 2 huge free throws.
And he's made 2 tonight. So LJ has a couple of three-pointers, 2 free throws for only 10 points. But good rebounds tonight, over 6 bounds for LJ.
And none more important than that rebound. Johnson's first free throw, no good. As we mentioned, he was 82% from the line this season. One of his better ones, upset with himself for missing the first. There's still plenty of time, 43.1 left. It's a 6-point game. Knicks have struggled from the line.
And they entered this game number 1 in the playoffs from the line, around 79%.
Johnson hits the second, and the Hawks call timeout. 43.1 remaining. Knicks with a 7-point lead, trying to go 2 up. It was 43.1 seconds remain, fourth quarter at the Georgia Dome. High anxiety for the Knicks down the finish right now with a 7-point cushion. They had an 11-point lead at one point. Hawks came storming back, pulled within 6 and had the ball, but could not convert as Crawford missed a 3-pointer. And he is fouled out at 26 in game 1, struggled shooting in game 2. And the Knicks now with a 7-point lead. And the key now, Clyde, is guarding against the threes. With Smith and Blaylock, they certainly could still hit a couple of threes.
Right. The Hawks are the best 3-point shooting team in the playoffs. They have not displayed it tonight. But as you mentioned, they could erupt here down the stretch.
Blaylock, Smith, Long, Mutombo, and Ed Gray back in the game. There's the timeouts remaining. Knicks with the 2 full in the 20. Hawks with the 2. Both teams in the penalty.
Knicks can afford to trade baskets here as long as they only give up the deuce and not the trade.
Camby, Ewing, Childs, Johnson, and Sprewell out there for the Knicks. Blaylock with Childs all over him. Blaylock fires up the shot off balance, and he draws the foul. His foot was on the line. It should be a 2-pointer. And Childs picks up the personal, not happy with it. That's his 5th. And exactly what the Knicks did not want.
Yep, it stops the clock right away. Blaylock can now take points off the board.
And his foot was inside the line, so it's only a 2-shot foul.
See, Kyle's too close to him. He should be off him a step right there. Get away from him. You see how close he is? That's his problem. There he had his hand. I don't know, Mike.
Yeah. Blaylock hits the first, and you saw his toe right on the 3-point line. Houston's going to come back in. Jeff Van Gundy putting his best free throw shooters out there as Camby will sit down. Good move from Van Gundy.
That's why on the road, folks, you don't want to leave any doubt with the officials. So that's why I was saying he should get away from the guy.
Blaylock, second one, no good. Mutombo the rebound. The follow, he misses it. Johnson tips it out of bounds. And it's going to be Hawk ball with 33.1 remaining.
Lackluster effort by Mutombo on that attempt. Like he could have finger rolled it in. He was close enough to the hoop. He's 7'2". So no one was really contesting him on the shot.
So Camby comes back in as the Knicks will have to play defense again. Blaylock trying to find some area to shoot. Good defense from Childs. Blaylock puts it up, won't go. Grant Long tips it. Sprewell knocks it loose and comes away with it. And they're going to have to foul Sprewell. Sprewell gets away. The Hawks let him go. Time winding down, and they finally foul him with 17.1 seconds left. Precious moments tick off the clock.
But that play indicative of the Hawks game all evening, especially in the second half. No cohesiveness nor coherent.
And Ed Gray is fouled out. Sprewell will shoot 2 with 17.1 remaining. If Sprewell can hit these 2, that'll pretty much wrap this one up.
And the Hawks in dire straits now going back to New York. Possibly could not return home.
Look at that, Clyde. 15 free throw attempts. He had 9 in game 1. That just shows you the aggressiveness and the attacking style of Latrell Sprewell.
Right. Indomitable spirit of this man, especially in transition. So that small unit of the Knicks created mayhem again for the Hawks.
And the lead is up to 7 with 17.1 remaining. Many of the Hawk fans leaving. The Knicks fans, though, staying around to enjoy it.
Knicks starting unit has been mediocre, but when you put the 3 guards in there with Camby and Dudley, That has been a very provocative team.
This is the second, and the Hawks will call timeout with 16.4 remaining. I think they'll put a couple of tenths of a second back up on the clock. But despite a bad game from Allen Houston, the Knicks in control here in the final seconds. 16.8 seconds remaining. Knicks now with a bit of a cushion, a 7-point lead tonight at 11. The MSG Sports Desk. Marv will have more on the Knicks and the Hawks game 2. Plus all of the baseball action, including the Yanks and the Red Sox battle and the Mets doubleheader. All coming up at 11 o'clock on the MSG Sports Desk. And then tonight at midnight, Fox Sports News with a complete wrap-up of the national scene. 16.8 seconds remaining. Hawks will have the ball. Latrell Sprewell, 29 points. He's mad at himself for missing that second free throw. And you look at in the 4 playoff wins, but the shooting percentage is what's key there, Clive. 56% from the field. His shot selection so much better than when it was during the course of much of the regular season.
Because he's getting closer to the hoop, and he's under control, squaring up now, not seeking points. Sometimes letting the game come to him.
Hawks are going to have to shoot some desperation threes. Steve Smith kicks it back out. Gray goes right at the basket, or Johnson, and stuffs it in. 13.6 remaining. It's a 5-point game. Hawks will foul right away. Sprewell wants to hold the ball. He wants to go to the line, and you like that in a player. He wants to go to the line.
Right? He wasn't going to pass it off. So you saw Blaylock didn't make the foul because he was trying to go for the steal. Once that was a futile attempt, Smith created the foul.
Some players in that situation will pass the ball, and you do want to take time off the clock, but Sprewell wanted to make sure he's the one taking the free throws.
He wants to redeem himself. Previously he missed the free throw, came back to the bench very belligerent, didn't sit down.
It's the first one with 10.3 seconds remaining. The Knicks lead is 6. Jeff Van Gundy has to be thrilled with the way his team has responded here in Atlanta in the first 2 games.
And the Knicks look too athletic for the Hawks, too much depth off the bench, and they have a Sprewell dilemma.
Final seconds, the Knicks are going to take the first 2 on the road. That's a 3 from Blaylock. Ball knocked away, picked up by Johnson, and the Knicks will now lead this series 2-0 with their 3rd straight playoff road win. As Latrell Sprewell, his 2nd straight 31-point game, and still getting coached from Jeff Van Gundy. 2 spectacular offensive performances from Latrell Sprewell, and the Knicks are certainly in command of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Lenny Wilkins did not think he was going to be down 0-2.
Right, he has some major adjustments. We mentioned the Knick depth, Sprewell, what to do with Sprewell, and also the Hawks' offensive futility. He had no one on tonight. Smith, their top gun, he was atrocious.
And the Knicks are now, hard to believe, 4-1 on the road in the 99 postseason. This from a team that only won 8 games on the road in the entire regular season. Final score in game 2, the Knicks 77 and the Hawks 70. Knicks now lead the best-of-7 series 2-0. Plenty more from the Georgia Dome coming up after this timeout.